Hands up if you were excited about this week's Raw, given that everything that happened on Friday Night SmackDown. I mean, you had to assume that we were going to get an NXT invasion number 2. And that's exactly what we did get. And somehow, WWE has made me excited about Survivor Series, even though I was terrified about brand versus brand, because I thought it would be dumb, given the draft split only happened, 72 seconds ago. But they have done it. I'm a happy man. And as for this episode of Raw, well, it was kind of good, but it was also kind of really weird. But that's why we have ups and downs. We can go to the show, take the finger of power and give the good bits up, and give the bad bits a down. My name is Simon Miller. Let's up those downs. So as I just hinted upon, the brand split is dead. Who had 2 weeks? Who had 2 weeks? Actually, it was more like 4 days. Now, I do care about this because, it really irks me when WWE does this. However, again, as we've already hinted at, I am very excited about the potentials. So up. 4 on Raw started with Triple H getting out of his limo before Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman made their way out to the ring to explain how Brock was able to quit SmackDown and end up on Raw. And simply put, he has a no-cut contract, which means Seth Rollins can't just get up and quit, and neither can Roman Reigns. But then they also tried to tie it in to the Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, drafting they did a few weeks ago. And if that is true, and that is the direction we're going in, SmackDown, you ain't very good at trading. Basically, it is just Lesnar doing Lesnar things. But what I really got excited about is that we're actually going all in with Rey Mysterio versus The Beast. And honestly, who saw that coming? When Dominic got the absolute hoo-ha booted out of him a couple of months ago, who went, oh, well, I guess this is going to build to a title match at Survivor Series between those two. It's amazing. Heyman spent the rest of his promo calling Rey Mysterio out, and as far as I can tell, the only way to have a satisfying payoff with this narrative is to have Mysterio become the WWE Champion. Now, I don't think that is going to happen, but a small part of me is very intrigued to see where it goes. No one showed up, so the champ and his best friend went backstage looking for the luchador, and instead Brock found this guy who was helping himself to some food or doing something like that, and he just killed him. And I mean that literally, he threw him to the ground, and that guy just stopped moving. Brock then started looking through cars and just dragged another guy out, and it turned out that wasn't Rey Mysterio, and that guy was absolutely terrified. He was like, I'm not Rey Mysterio, I'm not Rey Mysterio. What a goof. I like this. Afterwards, it was the Kabuki Warriors versus Charlotte Flair and Natalya, and at that point, I could have flown to the moon. 1 week in, and this makeshift tag team is already having a non-title match against the champions. Think of the story we could have told, those two coming together, finding a mutual respect, beating some other tag teams and making their way up to the top, only to get a shot against Asuka and Kairi Sane. But we didn't do that. We just did, want to be friends? Yeah, sure, cool. Geese match, please. Yeah, cool, here's match. And then, sweet, match is ours. All right, good luck with that. But of course, it is WWE, so always remember. Do you sometimes go on Google and search for WWE results, or try and figure out if a story inconsistency is on your end as opposed to the company's? Well, don't worry, you are not alone, because the one thing you must remember when it comes to World Wrestling Entertainment is that stuff just happens. It doesn't need to have a reason, a storyline doesn't have to be in place. You can be watching Raw or SmackDown and sometimes NXT, and stuff just happens because stuff just happens. So if you or anybody you know has been affected by these inconsistencies, please call 0800 Stuff Just Happens to talk to somebody that can help. Stuff just happens. Down. There was shenanigans because at one point Asuka just took Kairi Sane's foot and put it on the rope, but that's what heels do, and they are meant to be heels. And the oddest part of all of this is that at one point Natalya did this spinning slam, and she made a noise like a child on a roundabout. It got even weirder too, because at one point Charlotte was about 3 centimeters away from tagging Natalya, but she didn't do it because obviously the plan of the match was not to tag at that point, and I guess Kairi Sane was just a little bit cutting her off. But sometimes you just have to make the tag. It was like this. Imagine I said, I'm gonna give somebody a round of applause, and went, well, no, I can't do it. You'd be like, Simon, what's wrong with you? And I guess we are setting up a title match too, because Asuka, think of this, Asuka tapped out to Natalya's sharpshooter. Somebody tell me what I'm meant to think about this, because really, none of it makes any sense. I should also be more mad because that whole program with Becky Lynch taking on Kairi Sane and Asuka just stopped. But I'm not mad, because I'm trying to stay real calm as of late. Well, I'm a calm dude anyway, happy, positive dude. I'm trying to stay calmer. I basically want to be a sloth. Hilariously, WWE didn't even give us time for that victory to sink in, because almost instantly, Brock Lesnar was back out and he was seething mad. Give it up. The pair went to the commentators to see if they knew where Rey Mysterio was, and when they didn't, the beast went cuckoo. Paul Heyman even said to Jerry Lawler, "You better help us out, otherwise you are going to die on the air again, and this time nobody is going to be able to help you out. If you know, you know. If you don't know, don't worry about it." And I'm sure Jerry Lawler was cool with this, and the King went, "Yeah, man, let's do it." But my word. Amazingly, Dio Madden then got in Brock's face, and the result of all of that was that Dio got F5 through a table, so smart one there, commentator guy. Then it just kicked off because Rey Mysterio ran out with a bat. He took Lesnar down by smacking him, and then he got the title, and he also smashed it right in Lesnar's face. And I know there are a lot of facepalm moments throughout this storyline in sense from when it started to now, but this is a really good story and one that has me on tenterhooks. I want to know where it's going to go. Also, Rey Mysterio is coming across like a super duper dude. It continued because then backstage, Rey cut a promo and he was looking right down the lens as I'm doing now, and he said, "You took away what is most important to me, Brock," which of course is his son Dominic, so I guess Lesnar ate him. So, an eye for an eye, a tooth for the tooth. I am challenging you to a match at Survivor Series, and that match is going to be Paul Heyman on a pole, because I know how important Paul Heyman is to you. And if I win, I get ownership of Paul Heyman. That's not what happened. That's me getting carried away. I'm lying. Of course, Rey was talking about his championship, and he wants a championship match at the pay-per-view, and that thing is signed. I know what they're going to do. I was about to say, I don't know what they're going to do. Yes, I do. Brock will win. But I tell you, this is good. I did not see it coming, but I'm very happy it's here. We then got Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander, and obviously this was very good because I don't think these two are capable of having a bad match, so it is going to get an up. However, the fans didn't give two hoots here, and it's not really their fault, because what reason do they have to give a hoot? I mean, Cedric Alexander was having a feud with Drew McIntyre at one point, and then he just vanished. And at the moment, while I do think we are building up Buddy just a little bit, he needs to have a proper feud or a proper program or a proper story, something. At the moment, he's having daft match with R-Truth, which he did 7 days ago. And again, here he won after Murphy's Law, but it's not really connecting, is it? It is early days though, so I will reserve judgment. And I do hope we push him upwards. We then saw a highlight package of everything that did happen on SmackDown with the NXT invasion before we saw Seth Rollins heading to the ring. Who else got really worried? Me too. Let's talk about it. And as usual, he just got given verbiage that if he didn't like him, now you have a reason not to like him even more. He was already being booed, and he came out and said, "I know a lot of people don't care about the fact I lost the championship, and are happy that Bray Wyatt is now the champion, but you know what? I don't care." Well, you know what, Seth? You probably should care. You're meant to be the top babyface on Raw. Down. He's also mad that Lesnar is back on Monday nights, which means all of his hard work has been undone. And then Triple H interrupted, and everyone just burst out with their happy faces. This is completely the wrong way around. However, this is where all this got good. That means it does get an up, and the idea here was pretty cool, because Triple H was like, "Look, Seth, every time you've had any success or you've become the champion, I have been waiting in the wings, I have been in the background, so maybe you want to jump back aboard with me, and we can take you back to where you should be." That's a really smart, interesting thing. He basically wants Seth Rollins to get aboard the NXT train. Choo-choo! I mean, nobody said choo-choo. However, I bet you any money that at some point Seth Rollins does go choo-choo, and then it's on a t-shirt within 2 days. There was no set decision here, which I like, because it meant you had to watch the show to figure out what was going to happen before the end, and that's when the Undisputed Era started to make their way towards the squared circle. They were cut off by the OC, and at that point a massive brawl broke out. We also saw faces such as Damian Priest and R-Truth and Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder, and that was an odd choice of Raw guys to chase the NXT guys away. But whatever, everybody's involved. Rollins merely watched all this unfold, which again was to make you think which side he's going to pick, before saying to Triple H, "Go and get your boy Adam Cole, because I want him in the main event, and I want the NXT title to be on the line." That did get confirmed, and Seth also had to throw in there that one of the reasons he wanted this was because he's better than Daniel Bryan. Why do you have to inflame comment thread, Seth Rollins? It's getting very boring. Zelina Vega and Andrade then defeated Sin Cara and Catalina. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Have we got to the point where if we don't put this match on Raw, the whole world just implodes? Down. There was some nonsense on the outside, including a very cool move by Zelina Vega, so fair play to her when she got caught by Sin Cara but gave him like a DDT type thing. But all you need to know is the finish. Back in the ring, Zelina gave Catalina her Hurricane Rana into the floor thing, and she got the win. So Sin Cara's plan, Sin Cara, your plan absolutely sucks. You brought this person in to try and help you, and now you've lost 2 weeks back to back. Before everyone goes nuts in the comments too, yes, it's pronounced Catalina, but they spell it Carolina. I don't know, don't shoot the messenger. I am just here to relay wrestling information to you. And then I don't know what happened. It was as if a wrestling fan was having a dream, and somehow the dream became a reality on Raw. Let's talk about it. Rusev was out to tell Lana and Bobby Lashley he was done with all of this ludicrousness, and he just wants to kick Bobby Lashley's ass. Bob and Lana then came out, but Lashley was on crutches because he pulled his groin, banging Lana. Not making it up, that's what he said. He was far more subtle, but let's just get into the brass tacks. That is what he wanted to try and get across. Also, for some reason, Bobby Lashley was slurring his words throughout his promo. I don't know what that was about. Maybe he just enjoyed the sex too much. He's all like, who's there? It did mean that he couldn't compete on this evening, but they did have a replacement, which was Drew McIntyre. And Rusev and Drew McIntyre fought for about 5 minutes until Bobby Lashley decided he didn't want to watch anymore, so he just hit Rusev with his crutch. Then Drew decided he couldn't be arsed with any of this, literally went like that, I can't be bothered, and he just walked off. And then Randy Orton appeared from his hometown of out of nowhere and hit her RKO. Is this a continuation of the Team Hogan, Team Flair stuff? And why does it take 3 people to beat up Rusev? It wasn't bad, but sense-wise, I have absolutely no idea. Then Ricochet was out here and he was making the save, and I guess Rusev and Ricochet are now best friends. We'll give it an up, because it certainly wasn't bad, but it's just like this. I don't even know what that is. This is like a machine, but that's what my brain was doing the whole time. I was trying to catch up, but I just couldn't. It's really surreal. Guess we're just going to head to some kind of tag team match, like Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley versus Ricochet and Rusev. But then again, like I've already said, McIntyre just left like he was, I don't care about this. I got better things to do, like being Scottish. Then things got properly good. We were backstage with Becky Lynch, who was doing one of these sit-down promos before she got interrupted by NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler. And if you've watched the show before, you know that I love Shayna Baszler. She just stared right at the man, and she was like, I know that I've got to keep an eye on Bayley at Survivor Series because they're going to have a triple threat match. But just so you know, I've been waiting for this moment since the day I was born, and I'm going to kick your ass. Lynch snapped back like she always does, and all of a sudden this felt like a huge deal. It sucked for Bayley. She felt like an afterthought, but if you are going to give me Shayna Baszler versus Becky Lynch in any kind of world, I am all right with that. Just a good, easy, smart promo all round. We do have to mention the graphic that aired before this Lynch interview, because it said, Becky Lynch is the first woman to grace the cover of WWE 2K20. Yeah, there's only one cover, and therefore, what are you even talking about? What they meant was, she's the first woman to grace the cover of the 2K games, but that is not what they wrote. I'm just in one of those nerd moves when I decided to mention it. It was then the OC taking on the Street Profits and Humberto Carrillo. All of these people are really good. This match was a lot of fun. However, I can't stand the ending. Down. OC cut a promo beforehand saying how mad they were at everything, and that was kind of strange, because like 5 minutes ago they were defending Raw's honor, but the point was they don't like the Street Profits, they don't like Humberto Carrillo, so we should just have a match. And we did. And like I say, it was just the finish. The match was very good, as you'd expect from these 6 dudes. And again, Montez Ford knows what he's doing. But do you know who took the fall here? Who bit the pin? It was Humberto Carrillo. So now, all I've seen him do ever since he got called up was lose, lose, lose. And I know AJ Styles had his feet on the ropes. Oh, he's such a bad boy. He's such a heel. But why couldn't have Carrillo just have pinned Carl Anderson? Hell, let him pin Luke Gallows. I know they're now the best tag team in the world, but we had to give him something, and instead we just took more juice away. It doesn't make sense. And then it's another down because I don't want to see any more Viking Raider squash matches. Down. The reason is simple. You do these kind of fights to show how dominant and how upcoming a tag team is going to be. I don't need that with Ivar and Eric. They're already the tag team champions. They just follow the same format every week and they don't make for must-see TV. Afterwards, they cut a promo on the OC saying, we're coming for you, boys. I'm all right with that program. That'll be interesting. Also, now I think about it, didn't have anything from the AOP on this show. I don't know, the tag team division just feels lost. The main event then rolled around and I was surprised, so Raw must have been entertaining to some point, because I couldn't believe 3 hours had gone that fast. And again, it was Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole for the NXT Championship. so naturally it's getting an up. Much like SmackDown, this was just two great performers rocking it as best they can, and I really like the bit when Adam Cole went for the Panama Sunrise, but Seth Rollins just rolled right through it. Unfortunately, this should have had the same finish as Friday, because just imagine the star that Adam Cole would now be. You could go, my word, he beat former WWE champion Daniel Bryan, and my word, he also beat, just recently the Universal champion Seth Rollins. I guess I better take notice of this Adam Cole baby dude. Instead though, just at some random point, the Undisputed Era appeared up from the ring, they beat up Seth Rollins, and that caused the DQ. I am so sick of disqualifications ending WWE matches. I mean, we saw one about an hour before with Rusev, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre. The more you do something, the less impact it has. It's getting it down. We then did, however, get the second expected brawl between the NXT and the Raw guys, and that was absolutely great. I mean, Tommaso Ciampa was out there, Matt Riddle, Pete Dunne, and also Keith Lee. And my word, Keith Lee, can we just create the Keith Lee Championship and give him all the belts? He is awesome and probably one of the most underrated guys in that entire company. Because Raw went off air with him hitting the ropes and just diving into the sky and landing on everyone. And Keith Lee is not a small man. If you don't know, I'm a big fan of Keith Lee, to the point, just give Keith Lee an up. Still, this was a pretty damn decent ending, even if Raw overall wasn't as good as SmackDown. But like I said at the start of the show, I am just amazed that we are going to do brand versus brand versus brand versus brand versus brand versus brand at Survivor Series. And I'm not too bothered, because I quite like the matches that we're getting. It's the introduction of NXT. I never saw it coming, and I'm pleased that it happened. So that's why when the spinny arrow comes up, it is going to get an up, because I actually want to see where we're going next week. But I understand that there are still some issues, but we've talked about them, and they all got down. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about last night's Raw. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter at WhatCulture Stone Cold WWE. It's just at WWE. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And watch more videos here on WhatCulture Wrestling. My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Thank you as always for watching. And if you did watch SmackDown Ups and Downs, you know at this point in the video, Adam Cleary, who does Ups and Downs for NXT, decided to invade my video. Listen, man, you don't need to do that. There is no need. If you want to walk on my patch, much like Raw just did to the NXT guys, or technically NXT 1. The point is, I will also kick your ass verbally. We'll have a verbal exchange, and I will kick your ass. Look, now I'm just playing a damn trumpet. Don't come on my turf, boy. Otherwise, bad things gonna happen.